Nation? It's your boy Normatico, and welcome to Secondhand Blasters. I am here today with a new blaster review. But first, before I start the review, we need to go ahead and actually talk about a couple of things. For those who paid any attention to the 2026 New York Toys Fair, you probably noticed and you've heard that the N Series is dead. Yes, it does seem that Hasbro has pulled the plug on the N Series and has decided to launch a new line. We're going to be getting the Rebel Mech series here coming soon, which has this really cool cyberpunk futuristic look to the design. And the good news for the hobby community is that they have gone back to the standard size dart. Now, I do want to address a couple of things because congratulations, community, you guys got your wish. You said, no, we don't like N series. Ugh, the dart type's horrible. And yeah, in what is possibly going to be the most spectacular backfire ever in the history of corporate protest, you got what you wanted. So Hasbro said, we're not going to do the N1 darts. We're going back to Elite. So yeah. Now, yes, you can use the standard size darts from other brands that are better, but you're going to be getting Elite 2.0 standards. And yeah, we know how that went. So again, this is one of those things where I said on the live, unfortunately, the community in general has become complacent with the availability of pro-level off-the-shelf blasters. They demand perfection from a toy and are not willing to tinker and make it better than what it is. But whatever, that is on you, the consumer, from now on. That being said, we're already starting to see some of the new lines actually pop up in the store, not of the Rebel Mech, but of other things. And I'll be honest with you, if what we're seeing is any indication of what's to come, who knows? We'll see. That being said, let's get with our blaster that we have today, because I was at Walmart recently and I saw this one and it just called me. Why? Because it was so obnoxious, so over the top looking that I was like, I have to have it. And I'll be honest, the skin, it's kind of fun. So for $19.99, you can actually pick up the Reshell of what was the Elite 2.0 Warden. Now, this is called the Stars and Stripes Eagle, also part of the Red, White, and Blast line. Now, this skin, of course, it is super patriotic and is more probably going to be, I should say, we should see more traffic of it right around 4th of July because of the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. Now, I will say that given the current geopolitical climate, I don't know how well this blaster is going to sell. Now, I am going to talk about a couple of things here regarding the entire design because, frankly, I personally think it's really funny and almost insulting that of all the pantheon of blasters that they can choose to use a USA theming for, and I'm sure that Hasbro is probably thinking, hey, we're going to, I don't know, compliment the US by putting a patriotic skin on a blaster. I'm going to actually choose to look at it a different way. I would say that this is actually pretty insulting. No, the design, the eagle, actually looks nice. The background, it looks really cool. Hey, look, it's painted on both sides, the red, white, blue, that's fine. But a Warden? Did they have to choose a Warden? Arguably one of the crappiest blasters from Elite 2.0 is what they decided to go and actually skin as the US. So, I don't know if they're actually trying to blow smoke up the US or if they're trying to insult us in our face with a smile. But the point is, whichever way, well played, Hasbro. I'm sure there's going to be some jingoistic people that insist on buying this because America! Yeah, according to the song. Now, anyways, that being said, let's talk about the blaster. Now, for those of you who remember, the Warden did have some issues when Elite 2.0 came out. It had the issue with the plastic trigger spring, and I can tell you that based on this one, it does feel like it is still that plastic in the trigger. It doesn't look like it has an actual spring. It does have solvent welding on it. The actual pump grip itself is solvent welded, and it's probably clipped together as well. But you do have metal screws here, so who knows? If you do the hot water, cold water trick, you might be able to actually open this blaster up and upgrade the springs. I'm not going to guarantee anything. Again, it's a $19.99 gimmick blaster, so I don't expect top-tier performance out of this. Because of the fact that it is a smart AR system, the top layer is going to always shoot better than the bottom layers. If it does hit Elite 2.0 standards, I'm going to think that we're going to get right around 75 on the tops, and then towards the bottom, we're going to get right around high 50s, low 60s. We'll see, again, it's diminishing returns with a smart AR system. Now, when it comes to the blaster itself, it does have a very gentle trigger. I should say a picky trigger. If you actually pull like you would normally pull, you're going to launch both darts. However, if you gently pull on one, you'll actually launch one of the plunger tubes, and then if you pull down hard again on the other one, you'll launch the other tube. So you can technically get an 8-dart blast out of this blaster. And if it is anything like the Warden, you do have slam fire. So it does come with one tactical rail up top, which was a departure from the Elite 2.0 series, because the Elite 2.0 series was all about having tactics. So you just have the one tactical rail up here. Now, regarding the feel of the blaster, of course, because you have that angled shotgun style grip, it does feel pretty comfortable. And then actually the priming handle, it's a little bit small for large adult hands, but for a younger child, teenager, this should feel just fine. Of course, just like any other pump grip, you just pump it up and then you fire. So you are capable of doing 2 shots at the same time. Because of the fact that it does have a dual plunger system, you get the power out of both darts. And it is, as I said, a 2-stage trigger. So that being said, we're going to actually go ahead and run through the chronograph, see what we get, and we'll be back with our final thoughts.
Keep it rolling, never done. Echoes of the playful fight, testing blasters through the night.
All right, and we are back with our final thoughts regarding the Stars and Stripes Eagle Blaster, also known as the Warden 3. I call it the Warden 3 because technically they had the reshell of Optimus Prime, and now you have this one. Now, regarding the blaster, honestly, the performance out of it is right around what I was expecting. We did get Elite 2.0 standards with a high of 75, low of 60 on the bottom set, actually just above 60, I believe. But as I suspected, that trigger is very finicky. So in order to get the double blast, again, you have to be very methodical when you pull it. If not, you're going to launch both darts at the same time. But that is okay because of the fact that, well, it's made for having fun indoors, and who doesn't like a good shotgun blast? So, as for that, who is this blaster for? If you are a collector and you like skinned blasters, $19.99, good price, pick it up. You're going to enjoy the way it looks on the wall. This is actually probably going to go up in my office, only because of the fact that it's just so gaudy, and it'll make me laugh when I'm having a bad day at work. But that being said, if you are into competitive play, frankly, there are better blasters out there, and you're looking at the wrong channel, or I should say, you're looking at the wrong brand if you want them for competition. Even HVZ, this is outclassed spectacularly by stringers. So there's that. Now, who is the blaster for? Again, if your age is 8 to right around 10 years old, and you want to have a good time, you missed out on the Warden when it was first launched because, you know what, you saw a video by Wacom and you saw that he destroyed his, so you just didn't bother picking it up. Look, this one seems to have been fixed. I tried slam firing and I didn't break it, so at least there's that. It does have that going for it. But other than that, again, it's not anything new. And that is the problem that I have right now with Hasbro. Hasbro has been relying on reskins pretty much since the N-Strike series. And with Elite, of course, they did try different designs. Zombie actually did some really cool looking designs, but at the end of the day, it is just a reshell. Now this one, again, does look nice, but I am gonna nitpick about a couple of things because that's what we do when we critique things. Let's talk about the obvious. First of all, right here. It would not have cost very much to actually extend this out just a little bit so you can actually put a flush piece of plastic and cover up the actual smart AR system, which is right here. Why we have this big gigantic orange piece, I don't know, because we do have the orange barrels, so that complies with the actual safety aspect of things. If you're gonna skin a blaster to make it look really nice, make it more uniform. That's all I'm asking, okay? So there is that. The second thing that I'm gonna nitpick on, and this is more of a right to repair thing. Of course, some of you do live in countries where right to repair laws are mandatory. By actually clipping this and welding it together so that you can't really take this apart easily, you are flying in the face of right to repair. If something happens to this blaster on the inside, how are you going to open it up to fix it? So that's one of the things that I'm going to give it a ding on. But other than that, the appearance, it looks really nice. So again, it is available currently. I have seen it at Walmart for $19.97. For under 20 bucks, you're in for a pretty fun time with a goofy, not so great blaster. I do want to thank y'all for watching. Until next time, y'all, keep on blasting.